Every day, we are surrounded by our technology, phones in our pockets, computers in our laps. Do you ever stop to think whether all of this information on our devices is safe? Whether it's being monitored? In the book 1984 by George Orwell, he predicts a world where the people are monitored by telescreens. These telescreens are black devices that hang on almost every wall in every home, constantly surveilling about what we're doing, when we're doing it, and who we're talking to it about. When George Orwell wrote this book in 1948, he looked around his society and he saw people getting their source of information from called televisions. They were new back in 1948 in almost every building, and George was skeptical of them. And he used this concept for the telescreens in 1984. Some say George Orwell predicted the future, because now we carry around our own telescreens, our phones, our computers, all connected to the internet, that are easily monitored. According to the CIA, or the Central Intelligence Agency, there are approximately 317,400,000 mobile cell phones in the United States alone, all being monitored by the NSA. According to the NSA, the program does not allow the government to listen to anyone's cell phone calls. The information acquired does not include the content of communication, but does include what is called metadata. Metadata is what your phone gives off, including who you're talking to, when you're talking to them, and where you are when you're talking to them. Not only is this against the law, it's against the Fourth Amendment of our Constitution of the United States. Basically, the Fourth Amendment states that no person's house, papers, phones, or anything should be searched unless they have a warrant or probable cause. Suspected terrorists in the United States is not probable cause to collect mass metadata of all phone users in the United States. Many cell phone companies in the United States have been giving access to cell phone data for centuries, and it has been built into their network's backbone for generations. And before now, we have been completely oblivious to the situation. To avoid your metadata from being collected, there are 3 easy steps you can take. 1. Go into your phone settings, click Privacy, then Location Services, and disable it. After disabling this, your location metadata will not be sent. Another step is to use third-party apps, like WhatsApp or FaceTime. These apps have built-in encryption, which means no metadata will be sent to the government. After former NSA agent Edward Snowden released the data, there was such bad backlash, the US Congress decided to not let full metadata collection resume. As of 2017, our newly elected president, Donald J. Trump, it is assumed that we will have the surveillance program continue. So it is quite necessary to keep your data safe. You now have these devices to thwart government agencies. If the government now has access to all of your personal data, then what's next? Stalkers, criminals, people who are out to harm you, they could get this data. So to prevent that, you must use the readily available apps that you have on your fingertips. In conclusion, George Orwell's 1984 society is not so much different than our own. We are surrounded by these cell phones that are constantly taking in our data and sending it to the government. But unlike the 1984 society, in today's world, we can fight back. In the future, we might turn to that 1984 society where people are afraid, where every single day, 24/7, we are monitored, watched, and listened to by our government. So we must take back. We must not allow these laws to pass in Congress. We must take on the security precautions ourselves, using the apps I talked about, such as FaceTime, WhatsApp, and iMessage, all with encryption. So in the future, we can live our lives without having to look over our shoulder for Big Brother, who's always watching.